Welcome to this free immigration help channel. Today is July 5th, 2023, and we are getting into the volume 132 of me answering your immigration related questions. As you can see, I have all your comments pulled up here in front of me. Before beginning, as always, I'm going to mention I am not an immigration attorney. All the information provided in this video are directly from official government sources like USCIS and of course the Department of State. So let's start with the very first comment. Today from Sandarwin VR6XG. Let me know writing story for refugee. So Sandarwin, thank you for your comment. I really appreciate it. So the comment was posted on the how to write asylum story, which is one of the most important parts of the asylum application, writing the statement, basically describing all the events that happened and explaining why you are applying for asylum. And it's the same, very similar situation with the refugee, because really if you think about the difference between the two, asylum and the refugee status, the only difference between the two, I mean, in both situations you're being persecuted, in both situations you are seeking protection and basically refuge in the United States of America. The only difference is when it is asylum case, you're applying from within the United States. When it is a refugee case, you're applying from outside of the United States of America. So that's really the only two things that you keep in mind. So with that being said, Sandaran, it's really exactly the same format. It's really exactly the same chronology, making sure that you are providing as many details as possible. Of course, with the details that you're providing, you have to be able to provide corroborating evidence showing that, everything that you're mentioning in the statement actually happened, and there's documentation to show that. So that's the things to keep in mind. But as far as the difference goes, which one is, refugee and asylum, it's really for the most part the same thing. So if you have any questions along the way writing the statement, definitely let me know in a follow-up comment. I'll be happy to answer. But as far as the format goes and the layout, it's really the same thing. Okay, moving further to question from Patience Sula 426. Question 1, F22, so F2, second preference category, and documentarily qualified November 21, priority date June 21. Now that my sister is 21 and turning 22 in April next year, is there any hope that she gets scheduled for an interview? Yes, I'm pretty sure there's definitely hope, because honestly, by the time the interview is scheduled, most likely she might still be 21. But even if she is 22, it's really, really close. So she might actually qualify for the CSPA, the Child Status Protection Act. And I actually just done a video, probably 5 days ago, I think, on the Child Status Protection Act. Check it out. It's very applicable in your situation for your sister. So I think she might be able to take advantage of that and actually, still qualify as a derivative beneficiary. And the question 2 is, if petitioner becomes a U.S. citizen, is there a way of notifying them so they move you to F1? Yes, absolutely, 100% there is. And most of the times they know it themselves, and they are the ones who actually send you an option whether you want to stay in the second preference category or if you want to move up to the F1. Sometimes it's beneficial to stay in second preference. Sometimes it's beneficial to move to the first preference category. It's really going to be up to you. But if you specifically want to update them, then you do it through a public inquiry form. And I'm gonna use this as an opportunity to show where to find that public inquiry form, because most likely in this video we're gonna be talking about it. So this is the official government website for US Department of State, travel.state.gov. This is their visa bulletin for July 2023 page. You can find that page, the link for this page, in the description of this video. So click on it, you will see this. And then from here, we're gonna click on Contact Us at the very top right here. I'm gonna open it in new tab, so I have it as a separate tab. And then from this page, you will click on US Visas Contacts right here. I'm gonna click on this, scroll down a little bit more. In the first row of this table, you will see Email Public Inquiry Form. So we're gonna click on this. Scroll down a little more and then you will see online immigrant visa inquiries only, public inquiry form. Here you go, click on this and it will open up the public inquiry form where you will enter your NVC case number, beneficiary's full name, beneficiary's date of birth, petitioner's full name, who you are, petitioner, beneficiary, email address, and then in your inquiry, obviously in your situation, you can say, hey, you know, this is my case, here's my case number, my name is this and this, I'm the petitioner or I'm the beneficiary. I wanted to request to update the preference category as the petitioner in this case actually became, you know, a US citizen. And then in the attachment, you can actually attach the naturalization certificate of the petitioner. And that's really it. That's really it. They are pretty quick with these public inquiry forms on responding to them. So you should get the, you know, that updated pretty quickly. But again, keep it in mind. Sometimes it is actually better to stay in the second preference category, at least as of right now. If you look at the visa bulletin, looks like F2B is ahead by about 9 months. So as of right now, F2B second preference category is more beneficial because it's faster. Okay, so let's move on to the next question comment from David Francis 2412. Good night. I have been documentarily qualified from October 1st. My priority date is August 14. I am in the IR5 category. It's 9 months now and I have not heard nothing. I'm from Jamaica. This is nonsense, though I'm trying not to get frustrated. David, I completely understand you. And in fact, I'm going to say, when I was petitioning for my parents, it actually took them 9 months for the interview to be scheduled. So I think your interview might be around the corner, but I gotta say, I'm pretty sure the US Embassy in the country, in my home country where my parents were going through the interview, is not as busy as the US Embassy in Jamaica. So I'm thinking that also has to do with it. What you can do if you want, and it doesn't guarantee that they will let you know anything, but you can reach out to the US Embassy that is located in Jamaica and asking them, you know, saying, hey, yeah, I'm in immediate relative category, so basically saying that my immigrant visa is already available and I've been waiting for 9 months since I was documentarily qualified and I still haven't heard anything as far as when my interview is scheduled. So can you guys give me any information on when my interview was scheduled? A lot of times they say, no, we can give you that information, but I had some, you know, some cases that I'm, you know, familiar with where they actually did provide that information. Another thing that I want you to keep in mind is that most likely your interview is already scheduled. It's just you don't know about it because they cannot send you the notice of the interview up until 30 days before the interview. So for example, if your interview is scheduled for September 1st, they cannot send you the notice of the interview until August 1st because they have to give you 30 days to do the medical examination. So they can't let you know earlier, technically. So that's why I say call, because when you call and if they give you the information over the phone, it's not the official interview notice. It's just they're looking at the scheduling system and they're like, yeah, it was scheduled for whenever, but you don't have the official interview notice, so you can't actually go and do the medical examination, if that makes sense. So give that a shot. You can find all of the US embassies around the world at usembassy.gov website. And let's see if we can scroll down to Jamaica. Here you go. Click on this, and I think it's in Kingston. Yes, there you go, US Embassy in Kingston. So here's their phone number. Again, if they tell you, sorry, we can't give you that information, don't be too upset. 9 months is not anything out of the ordinary. Like I said, in my situation, it was 9 months, and I have seen people on this channel asking questions that have been waiting for like a year and a half. So it happens in some situations, but it's really around the corner. It should be pretty soon now. Okay, moving further to the next comment from Xuyen Nguyen XD5WT. My son priority date is 2016 F2B category. How much longer do I have to wait based on your experience? I'm 66-year-old and I am afraid by the time my son got accepted, I no longer have enough income to support the document. Please advise. Thank you. So thank you for your question. Let's take a look at the visa bulletin, see what's going on for the F2B. So we know that its priority date is 2016. I don't know the chargeability area, so for the purposes of this one, I'm going to look at all chargeability area, F2B, right here, all chargeability. But if you're from China, India, Mexico, Philippines, then you're respectively looking at this, China, right here, India, right here, Mexico, and right here, Philippines. So we're going to look at the all chargeability area, September 2015, you said, and, well, not you said, sorry, the visa bulletin said, and you said February 2016. So, according to what we have right now, as of July 2023, it looks like your son is only about, let's see, September is 9, so 3 more and 2, so roughly 5 more months away from the availability of the immigrant visa. Now, since F2B already on January 2017 for Graph B, for people whose NVC portal is opening up, your son should already be documentarily qualified. So, with that being said, since your son is most likely already documentarily qualified, and again, that's based on all chargeability area, then you don't have to worry about the financial documents, because the documents that you have submitted during the documentary qualification process are the documents that your son will have to bring to the interview with him, basically, just for the reference. So that's good news, because even if there is any kind of updates in your situation, in your financial situation, you were already, your son was already documentarily qualified. So that's good. That's it. It means everything is good. It's just, a matter of waiting for the availability of the immigrant visa and then getting the interview. And as of right now, roughly another 5 months for the priority date to become current. Okay, so let me post the answer here, and we're going to move on to the next question from Shinuda Bekit 8701. Shinuda, thank you very much for being publicly subscribed. This is what this icon means. I appreciate it. I really want to thank you. You make things easy. I have a lot of questions. All right, let's bring it. Can I file for my brother and married sister and her daughter? She is 6, and my mom. If you are a US citizen, yes, you can. If I wanted to and get my green card, does the form change? Okay, so you're not a US citizen, so no, in your situation, unfortunately, you can't file yet for your brother, for your sister, and for your mom. You have to wait for the citizenship, for naturalization. So if I waited and get my green card, does the form changes? Form. Okay, let me know which form you're referring to. I know somebody was asking in the previous video about the I-730, the basically for it's a very similar form as I-130, but it's for asylees and refugees. I'm thinking it might have been you. Sorry if it's not you, but if it is you, if you're referring to that, yes, absolutely. If you become a permanent resident, now we're talking about the I-130. But again, as a permanent resident, you cannot petition for your brother, for your sister, for your mom. You have to wait for naturalization to become US citizen first. How to travel to other countries after getting the green card? It's pretty much same way as you travel, with your international passport. Green card really is for the entry back into the United States. So you're going through the airport, you're showing that you're a permanent resident, that's it. Instead of the visa, now you have a permanent residency. So it's really the same thing. How much time can I stay outside of the States without hurting my situation in citizenship's interview? Okay, that's a great question. So technically they say it's 1 year. If you're staying outside of the United States with the permanent residence for 1 year, you have to request the re-entry permit. So if you're planning to stay outside of the United States. Personally, I wouldn't recommend staying outside of the United States with the permanent residence card longer than 6 months. Just to be on the safe side, just so that there is no extra unnecessary questions during that naturalization interview. Because that's where they definitely gonna ask, if you've been outside of the United States during your permanent residency for a little bit too long, definitely be prepared with good reason to answer these questions during the interview, because they're definitely gonna ask that. Okay, so thank you for your questions. Appreciate it. Let's put the answer here, and we're gonna move on to the next one from Katana Nosa 4506. Hi, please, my wife and I have stayed together in Nigeria for close to 4 years. She left for the US based on medical reasons. How can she file for me because she has split memory loss issues? She's done with the medicals, but hard to be taken to a home. She's an American citizen. Okay, that's very straightforward, very simple. If she's an American citizen, all she needs to do is to file the form I-130. Let me double check. I'm pretty sure it should be available online, but I'm gonna use this as an opportunity to demonstrate some navigation on USCIS.gov now, because this is the official government website for US citizenship and immigration services. This is what the front page looks like, and you can find this link in the description of this video. So we're gonna click on forms. We're gonna click on all forms, and then you can scroll down and find the form I-130, or you can just type in 130 here and it will come up, and there you go. Yes, it is still available to file online, which is good, makes things much easier. So this is what you will need to do. This is what you will need to file. On the huge plus side is, because she is a US citizen, you are going to be in immediate relative category, which is the fastest category to be processed. There is no backlog. There is no backlog for the availability of the immigrant visa that you have to wait for. And on this channel, you can find really, that's where what I'm mostly, concentrating on this channel is family reunification. So you can find step-by-step on how to fill out the form I-130, step-by-step on documentary qualification process, on how long the waiting is, on how to read the visa bulletin, which you don't even have to do because you are immediate relative category. So it's pretty straightforward. Just the sooner you start, the better, because again, even if it is immediate relative category, there's still administrative processing that you have to wait for with USCIS, then the NVC, then the medical, then the interview. So there's stuff involved. So the sooner you start, the better. Okay, moving further to SG Bolu 2011. Could you please share your email with me so I could get more education and information from you? My case was changed from unmarried since I went for an interview in Monrovia, Liberia, January 12, 2017. They have mentioned this bulletin numerous times, but don't really know how to check. Okay, Jibulu. So unfortunately, I do have the email on this page, which honestly doesn't even seem to work very well, because as far as all the emails that I've gotten so far, I've gotten them in this spam folder for whatever reason. But I don't provide any services outside of this channel, and this channel is not a service either. It's a free immigration help channel. So I don't provide any services. I'm not an immigration practitioner. I'm not an immigration attorney, so I can't provide any kind of communication, consultation outside of the comments on this channel, because if I do, then it becomes something else other than what it is right now, and I want to keep it free. I want to keep it like this. So if you have any questions, just post them in the comments, just like this, and I will get to it and I will answer it in one of the volumes answering immigration questions on this channel. So that's the best way to do it. Okay, so let me post a response here, and we're gonna move on further to the next question from Adorable SL5HI. Oh, and it looks like there's two. Good day, sir. What does it mean case has been expedited to post? Wow, that's awesome. Congratulations. NVC sent me that message, and what does it mean? Thanks, sir. It's embassy from Philippines scheduled the interview or the petitioner or the beneficiary. That is fantastic news. Expedited, if your case has been, and it happens, it doesn't seem like it happens very often. It's quite rare, and I haven't seen anyone yet. You're the first person that I know, and on this channel and in general, whose case was just expedited without requesting the I know some people that expedited their cases by requesting the expedited processing, but in your situation, looks like they expedited without even you requesting, which is fantastic. It means that your case will be processed faster. So if you had another 6 months for whatever interview, you're gonna be probably waiting another 2 months. So depending on what's going on there in Philippines at the U.S. Embassy in Philippines. Now, to answer your second question, is the embassy from Philippines scheduled the interview or the petitioner or the beneficiary? So the interview is going to be, if the beneficiary of the petition is in the Philippines, the interview is going to be in the Philippines, in the U.S. Embassy in the Philippines, and the interview is going to be for the beneficiary. Petitioner is not doing any interviews, not dealing with nothing like this, just the beneficiary. Okay, wow, that's awesome. Just expediting. I wish they just started expediting everyone, you know. Okay, moving further to the next comment question from Reindolf Jima. 2731. Hi sir, my brother filed for me since 2016 but haven't heard anything from him yet. So how I can check for myself? Great question, thank you for asking. So you will be checking on the visa bulletin. Since you said your priority date is in 2016 and it's brother, you know, it's US citizen filing for brother, it's a forced preference category. So at the visa bulletin, this is the visa bulletin, and this page, the link for this page you can find in the description of this video. This is the most recent one for July 2023. So we'll scroll down on the graph A, F4, forced preference category. Right now, the for all chargeability area is April 2007. And your priority date is in 2016. So you're roughly looking at another 9 years for the availability of the immigrant visa. Forced preference category is the longest one. It takes the longest for, you know, the immigrant visa to become available. And looks like you've done already 6 years, 7 years of waiting, long time, and you still have a little bit left, not a little bit, more than half, and you know, unfortunately, but that's just how it is. And I know personally from, you know, I'm waiting too with the same category. So, and I have another 13 years to wait. So I definitely can relate. But I would recommend just staying on top of the visa bulletin, checking it every single month the new one comes out, making sure that it's moving along very well, staying on top of your case. On this channel, every time the new visa bulletin comes out, I make a, you know, updated video on the visa bulletin. So make sure you're subscribed, and a little bit more patience, and some more waiting to do still ahead of you. Okay, moving further to the next question from Opium Top 10K80. Hey, I hope everything is going well. I watch your videos and they are really helpful. I'm glad they're helpful. Thank you. I want to ask you, I just realized that we didn't answer one of the questions in the form I-130. The question was, if the beneficiary's native language does not use Roman letters, type or print his or her name and foreign address in their native language. Yes, we didn't answer this question on the form I-130. However, we did submit a document shows the name and when the spouse born in his native language. Could you assist us and give us an advice on what we should do to fix this? Okay, so I don't think it's gonna cause a lot of problems. So don't worry about it. I don't think it's gonna cause any problems. But I would recommend sending a cover, just a regular, it's not a cover letter now because you're sending it a separate letter, but I would recommend sending a separate letter, actually a cover letter, attaching the page from that application with that field filled out. So whatever page on the I-130 application, just print that, fill it out how it's supposed to be. In the cover letter, explain what happened, explain that, you know, you missed that part, you didn't fill it out, so here is the filled out page. You know, you probably already have the receipt number for the I-130, for the I-130 that USCIS received. And then again, if you want, you can attach that original, not original, but a copy of the document in the original native language, just so that they see, yes, there is it in a different language. And in the cover letter, just make sure to explain that, hey, you know, I'm writing this letter for this case with this reference number, and the reason why I'm sending this, you know, additional, basically, correspondence is because I forgot or whatever happened. And that should be it. But again, it shouldn't really cause any problems. And most of the times with stuff like this, if they really do need it, they will send a request for evidence. It shouldn't be a problem. But if you are ahead of them, it might save you some time. So definitely do that. Okay, moving further to the next common question from Chaz Mercy Apodaca 7132. Hi sir, I'm Mercy from Philippines. I have been big problems about the address. My green card delivered in the old address, but I didn't receive yet my green card. My concern is 2 months ago now. I'm still changing my address because my husband, truck driver we just used, is mailing address from company. I don't know what to do. Please advise me. Okay, so if whenever it comes to the address change, if you have an immigration case in process, like for example, in your situation, great example, USCIS should be number one. Then it is USPS, then it is the driver license and all that sort of stuff. Even though probably driver license should be first, technically by law, because you have 10 days, but immigration case so that you don't have situations like this. Sounds like in your situation you would have to apply for a renewal card based on the fact that it was lost in the mail. So what you would need to do is you would need to find the form I-90, there you go, application to replace permanent resident card, and you will have to file it based on the fact that it was lost. So if there is no way to find that, then you're gonna have to file this form once again to get the lost one. And in the application itself, obviously, if you're filling it out online, this is what you will be selecting right here, the 2A. My previous card has been lost. So I'm gonna copy this link right here. You can file this form online, which I would recommend doing. But again, don't file this until you actually correct your address so that it's obviously not lost again. So let me copy this. I'm gonna paste this right here, and we're gonna move on to the next comment question from SQL Babe. My sister's priority date is December 2019 and she's documentarily qualified on December 2020, F2A category. Please, do you know when she will be scheduled for interview? All right, let's take a look at the graph A on the visa bulletin, since she was already documentarily qualified. So priority date is December 2019. Let's see. So F2A, so September 2020 right now for all chargeability. So people with priority date in September 2020. As of July 2023, their immigrant visas are becoming available. And your sister is in December 2019, so almost 2020 basically. So she is roughly, September is in month 9, so about 8-9 months away from the availability of the immigrant visa. So probably in the beginning of 2024, I would say you should expect her to be scheduled for her interview. Okay, so let me post the answer here and we're gonna move on to the next comment question from Sunrise GP3YM. Hi sir, can I add my name to portal as a third party to help my mom to submit the document when they open when they open it, because she doesn't know how to do it, and also she doesn't know English, and I do all papers. Even when she applied for my brother, I filled up the paper. Okay, Sunrise, thank you very much for the question. That's an excellent question. You don't have to worry about adding yourself as a sub because it's your mom. When we are talking about our family members and helping our family members fill out these petitions, you don't have to worry about putting yourself as interpreter or as the translate, whatever is the other one, the preparer. You don't need to worry about it. Just from her name, and that's it. That will be completely fine because you are a family member, so that should definitely be good. The only times those fields are filled out as a third party, as a preparer, as an interpreter, is when it is actually someone random who makes money who provides a service, and they interpret the petition, or they prepare the petition for the person, documentary services. In those situations, yes, they fill out those fields, but in your situation, you don't have to worry about it. Okay, let's move on probably to our last question for today from Gagan Kaur 1209. Hi, I am 4 months pregnant. I already filed for my spouse. Processing time, it takes 5 weeks more. How he is coming faster in United States, because it's very difficult for me in this condition, live alone. I need him. Please reply in this vlog. Thanks. Thank you very much for your question. So it sounds like your case is still with USCIS. Unfortunately, because there is so much stuff that is involved with family reunification petitions, you have USCIS, you have the NDC, you have the US Embassy with the interview. But it doesn't mean that you still cannot help, with this process. If the case is still with USCIS, then submit the expedited request to USCIS. On this channel, I have a video on how to do it separately for USCIS, separately for the NVC, and then obviously when it comes to the US Embassy, then your husband, can call the US Embassy in the country where he is and ask them and explain the situation. It might not work. It might work. Again, in some situations they are actually helpful. In some situations they are willing to expedite the processing. But don't be upset if they don't. But staying on top of your case and requesting it, I would definitely recommend doing that, because like I said, in some situations it is possible, and I do have the videos explaining on how to do that. Basically, it's just a very, very simple, straightforward letter that you're mailing to USCIS, to the processing center where your case is. Just in the letter, mentioning the reference number for the case, explaining the situation, telling them that it's really hard for you, that you're experiencing hardship and you need the petition to be processed faster, you need the expedited processing, and then hoping that they actually positively respond to it. Again, don't be upset if they don't, because a lot of times they don't. A lot of times reasons that people have are just not good enough for them. But still, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't try requesting the expedited processing. So thank you very much, everyone, for asking your questions. Always appreciate your questions. If you have any follow-up questions or comments, just submit them as a separate comment. Don't respond to my comment within your comment, because YouTube does not send me those notifications. Submit it as a separate comment and it will show up on this wall here in front of me, and I will be able to address it in the next volumes. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching. God bless, and I'll see you all in the next video.